Live from Las Vegas.
And Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Here we go. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm percolating.
Per- Percolate. Hey, that reminds me. I'm drinking an awful lot of coffee. I know you
Uh-oh.
don't drink much coffee, but all of a sudden, bang! I'm drinking coffee like a complete nut. I have 4 or 5 cups a day now.
Wow. Yeah, that is a lot. Wait a minute. How big is a cup?
Big one, 16 ounces.
Oh, okay. We talking a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
You getting more than a pot full.
Yeah.
Do you use a regular pot or do you use the Keurig pods?
No, regular pot. Regular pot. Them Keurig pot. I mean, in the morning, I want my coffee immediately. So for me to put them little pots in. Little Ridge, what's up? Mark, how you doing? Hey, if anybody hasn't checked out Mark at Little Ridge Farms, check him out. He did a video today about he's I guess he had kidney stones, little oxalates, and how we made a
Oh,
little bit of tuna. Check him out, please.
all right.
Anytime, Jason, no problem. Today we're going to have on board Just Jason Keto, and he will
Eddie Dutch.
he'll be talking to us about how his journey and how we got connected and stuff like that. So
Hi, Ron.
it'll be pretty good.
Hi, Marie. Yeah, I look forward to this. Jason's a
Jason is
he's come a long way with it. He has succeeded greatly in this.
and and I'll let him tell his story, but I mean it's even tough. He's the only one doing it in his house, so
Yeah,
that is very very
that
hard
makes it
to
real
do.
hard. That's extremely hard.
Yeah. So luckily, it's just me and Marie. But I mean, luckily, she all of a sudden likes it. And there's nothing there again. You say it 100 times that there is nothing tough about it if you just get your mind straight. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
head game,
exactly.
really. Yeah.
Exactly. If it's hard, you made it hard. You
Yeah.
overthought it. You were thinking because if you go into it thinking, "Oh, I got to find all this keto food that I can eat," that
I watched
just buy
Doctor.
food. Just buy.
Yeah, I watched Dr. Eric Westman today. He's at Durham, North Carolina, up with Duke. I mean, he actually has a clinic. His clinic is set up to where people who are going in to have the band surgeries on their stomach, okay,
Okay.
yeah, if they're too far gone, too overweight to have the surgery done, they send their patients to him, and he turns around and he puts them on. He calls it pharmaceutical keto. Okay, pretty
Huh.
strict. Yeah, pretty strict. It's not as strict as the epileptic one that they would put kids on, but pretty close to get them to start losing weight. So he turned around and said, "Hey, wait a minute." He said, had 5 or 6 people that were on the program in the beginning. Okay, got to the point where they didn't have to have the surgery. Now,
Wow.
with that said, that one size don't fit all, so it's pretty different for everybody. But there was a thing on there today that they were talking about spaghetti squash and alternatives to pasta. And he sort of hit me between the eyes with it. He said, "You know what? Yeah, pasta's not good for you the whole bit, okay. But if you still have them cravings, okay, have a little
Hmm.
pasta, have a little bit." He says, and will it hurt you? Yeah, you're going to feel different. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But don't fight it. This is not well. You can't have this no more. So I
Right.
just
I mean, you got to look at it realistically.
Hey, Rob.
What is
Poor
up,
guy.
Rob?
Poor guy
I
with a
love the
black
new
snap.
name, Rob. I really do. Poor guy outdoor cooking. I like that.
Yep.
Um, I'm with you. You know, if you want to throw in a little pasta every now and then, what's it gonna hurt?
Salt pepper. What's up, John? How you doing?
Hey, John.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is if you're going to switch. Now, if you're sitting binge eating potato chips and stuff like that,
Yeah, yeah. You got.
I don't care who you are, it's going to hurt you.
Oh yeah.
And if
There
you're
ain't
going to
enough
sit,
exercise in the world to fix you.
I had a lady say to me, "I hear you eat, you keto people eat a lot of bacon." Okay, you know, I said I have a couple of slices of bacon with my $50 eggs. Nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but but yeah, but that's like a novelty type of thing. You know what I mean? So
Right. I mean, let's see. I guess the last bacon I had was Monday. I had some
yeah,
bacon on Monday. Uh, it's not like I eat it every day. And when I do, I eat it in moderation. I'll have 2 or 3 slices and move on.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to bring up Jason, just Jason Keto, and we're going to have
All
him
right.
join the chat. And there you go, Jason. Welcome aboard, buddy.
How you doing tonight?
Hey, Jason.
Yeah, just getting set up here.
No worries. Take your time.
Sounds good. Audio sounds good. Everything sounds great.
Cool.
So everybody in the chat, this is just Jason Keto, and he's been doing keto for a while. And I was saying before, he's the only one in his family to do, and that's kind of tough to do. So, Jason, if you want, come ahead and let everybody know what you're all about and how you got started, and give us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, it's I guess as far as backstory.
Hey, Johnny.
I was pretty active when I was younger. Baseball, hockey. I was in competitive judo until I was 18, sort of thing. It was just sort of one level under Olympic trials kind of thing. So, that was sports, and that was a pretty big focus for me for most of my teenage years. But then, of course, it was once you get 19 and 20 and, girls and parties and McDonald's were more important than anything else. So it was, it's just like everyone else that seems to, over the years, you think, oh, it's, I feel fine. I'm, you don't realize that every year you're putting on more and more weight and you're getting less healthy every year. And so that's the same thing that happened to me. And then I guess probably when I was in my early 40s, I started having really bad digestive issues that I couldn't figure out, which eventually I wound up. First thing I did is I went gluten-free for pretty much everything. Like I cut out all wheat and anything with gluten in it, which helped a bit. But the problem with that approach is that, gluten-free basically just means you're replacing wheat with rice and potatoes. Right. So, I felt better, but I was gaining weight a lot quicker than before, which was weird. I was eating healthier, but another part of it too is the kind of work that I do. I've been for the last 15 years, like I started off as doing, service work as a cable TV technician for a few years. And, now I for the last 13 years, I've worked at a company where I work in the field and, it doesn't always lend itself to having time to eat properly during the day. So
that's for sure.
and that just made things a lot worse because, you work all day, you haven't had anything good to eat, and you don't have time and you get really hungry. So what do? You stop at McDonald's or you go to the gas station and you get some crap in a bag and a bottle of pop, and, that's your dinner. And I did that for a long time until my first grandson was born in 2017. And at first, he wasn't very mobile and it wasn't a big deal. But after when he got to be about 2 years old, and he was like, come on, let's play. And I could barely even bend over to pick him up.
The funny part is them two little legs are faster than hell.
I know. So he was the sort of tipping point for me, because I had tried, cutting calories and working out at the gym and eating like rice and chicken and all the low fat stuff. And it, it would work for a little while, but it wouldn't really have any kind of lasting change that I was happy with. But then, at Christmas in 2019, I went to a family gathering, and I hadn't seen my cousin for quite a while, and she had lost a lot of weight since the last time I saw her. So I got talking to her about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I did keto," and she was doing it for about a year then. So it's like I'd been seeing a lot of it on YouTube, the way YouTube works, you know, if you're watching, at the time I was watching a lot of workout videos, bodybuilding videos, that kind of stuff. So the diet videos start getting suggested to you, and there was a lot of people like Thomas DeLauer and that I, you know, came across my page, right? So I had heard of it before, but I really didn't know too much about it. So that was Boxing Day 2019. And so I went home that night and I got on YouTube and I basically watched every video I could about keto until New Year's Day. It was New Year's Day 2019. So this was 2018 at Christmas, but then New Year's Day 2019 is when I basically said, okay, well, that's it. I'm just going to give up sugar. I'm going to give up wheat. I've already given up wheat and grains. Well, not grains, but wheat, because I was gluten-free. So that wasn't a big deal, but I gave up the sugar and I started eating, you know, meat and eggs and
did you say you had celiac?
Never. It was never a diagnosed thing. It made
just how you felt.
Yeah, it definitely, I felt a lot better by eliminating gluten from my diet. Like I think ultimately everybody's got some intolerance to gluten. It just depends on how much you can handle it, right? So I look at that as actually a bit of a bonus, because by the time I started keto, I'd already been gluten-free for 5-6 years. So cutting out, you know, all I really had to cut out was the rice and potatoes. You know, I just took everything else that I was eating, like the steak and the chicken and some of the vegetables and all that. I just kept eating that and added eggs and bacon and just got rid of all the starches. And then things really turned around pretty quickly. I started that New Year's Day at about 278 pounds, I think, feeling like complete garbage and, you know, can't even bend over to tie my shoes. And then by the next New Year's Day, I got down to about 198 pounds. So that, which was about the lowest I ever got with the diet. To be quite honest with you, for the first year, it was like, you know, I wasn't tracking anything, but I was paying attention to weight and all that. After the first year, it was just like, okay, well, this is just the way I live. And I'd come to the realization that actually being under 200 pounds is not where I'm supposed to be. You know, like it's just not healthy for me just because of, you know, my size and all that. So I just let things even out and, you know, get to that point of homeostasis that we all want. And that's where I've been cruising for the last 3 years or so, basically.
How tall are you?
Around 6 feet.
Okay.
So
what was your high point?
For weight?
Right.
Yeah, I was up to 278.
Okay.
Yeah. So like ultimately I'm surprised. I may have been over that at one point, but that's where I weighed in the first day, basically.
Yeah, I keep telling everybody that I was like 2 pounds away from 300. Okay, looking back at some of my, because I keep all my records. I keep, whenever I get blood work done, I keep all that stuff. And at the one point at the doctor, they wrote everything down. And at one point, I was 310.
Ooh.
So yeah, so I mean, up and down, up and down, up and down, and you know, like I said, I'd get in denial. All of a sudden, I'd start, you know, arguing with the nurse. You get on the scale first and stuff like that. So
yeah.
And it's tough. I mean, with being gluten free, also a little easier to back away from the bread.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. I think, and that's really, if you know, and I'm sure everyone else here that's keto has talked to other people that, you know, ask, well, how did you do it? What did you do? And you say, well, do this and this and this. And oh yeah, cut out bread and pasta and all that. And they're like, oh, sorry, see you later. I'm not interested because
that's usually the deal killer right there.
Yeah. You know, it's either that or the chocolates, right? The candies and stuff like that. People and chips and things like that. That
they call comfort food. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And reason why it's called comfort food is because you know what? You go see the doctor three more times a year than you would normally, and it's comfortable for them because they're getting a little bit more money out of it. And there again, we're not doctors or scientists, but these are life experiences that we have. I tell you one thing: I wish I knew about this 20 years ago. Okay, I mean,
Me too.
Would have avoided a lot of stuff. A lot of unnecessary stuff that was self-inflicted. I would, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Following the sad American diet. I mean, just stop and think about it. There's a video out on here. It's called Fat. Okay, check it out. Everybody, check it out.
What's it called?
Vinny Tortorice's.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Documentary.
Fat what?
It's just Fat.
It's just fat.
Oh, okay. I've seen that one. Have you seen part 2?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't looked at part 2.
Okay, he goes. He kind of goes a little bit on the vegans a little bit.
Yeah, and you know what? But there again, Mike, my premise is this. Okay, whatever you do to get your health back, do it.
I agree. Okay. If you can do it with being a vegan, go for it. I got no issue with it. Just don't force it on me.
Like everybody's talking about the meat prices and eggs, or $50 eggs and stuff like that. Okay, we ain't seen nothing yet, brother. Wait, because out here, California's getting flooded like crazy. Okay, and watch, for the vegetables and that kind of stuff, how it's going to go up. You know what I mean? We'll probably pay $50 for an onion.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I've always thought the same thing. Like it's before I started keto, I didn't really pay attention to, anything to do with health and fitness and all that. I was like, but as soon as you start something like this and you get down that rabbit hole and you can't stop watching, I don't know how many channels I have subscriptions to that, starting with Thomas DeLauer and then, Dr. Berg until I found out what he was about. And Dr. Barry and, Two Crazy Ketos and Goody Beats and, Keto Connect and like all of these, everyone's got good information. But and that's a good thing and a bad thing, I think, is that there can be an overload of information out there that,
people get mad. I mean, they get mad very fast if you talk against their, way of doing things. Oh, I do it this way. So you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah,
I take it all into consideration as far as there's now all of a sudden there's quite a few more doctors on YouTube that call out other people that are on YouTube handing out misinformation.
Yeah.
Okay. And now all of a sudden these YouTube doctors, what's what they call themselves, are coming up with data. Okay. On how it's working. Okay. And they keep saying, well, Eric Westman did today. I watched one today he's talking about alternatives to pasta. Okay. Well, one lady writes in the comments that, well, it just doesn't taste like pasta. It's not pasta.
It's not pasta.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to taste like pasta.
Yeah. So that's once you get that cleared out of your mind. Now, if you have spaghetti sauce, you want something like that look, okay, then fine. But he also said today, he said, once you get past and get to almost to your goals or what you're looking for, what he meant was like after a year or two, and that it is sustainable. There's no written law saying that you cannot have a little bit of pasta. But you're going to feel the results afterwards. He said, so be ready for that.
Be ready.
So
and make sure you limit it. Don't turn one meal of pasta into a pasta hoedown.
Yeah, it's I don't know. You have to. I think people need to sort of step back from the details that you can get on YouTube and get more involved in a community than anything else, because it's the support and the support without the demonization that you're looking for, because even the you look at Thomas DeLauer, for example, him and I can never remember the carnivore doctor's name.
Sean, Dr. Sean.
Not Sean Baker.
No.
The guy who lives in Costa Rica, and I'll remember.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll remember his name eventually. But
yeah, they went at it not too long ago, you know.
Well, they did and they didn't, though, because Thomas DeLauer has shifted his thinking
Mediterranean
behind keto as well. Like he's not 100% for being keto as a lifestyle. He's more as a tool. But people have to understand that him and others like him look at
Charlotte.
Look at them. They're basically like their metabolic health is leaps and bounds above anybody else.
Right.
What they say has no bearing on anybody that's really had metabolic issues, I think.
Yeah. See, when they turn around, when these guys turn around and you see the bodybuilders, the whole bit, okay, I turn away from them because they got an agenda. Okay.
They're all trying to sell something.
They have their agenda. Come, to here, come to there, and this and that. I look at a fat guy like me, okay, my age, and say I'm never going to look like them guys. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it this way: I know where a gym is. I've just never been inside of one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what do I do now? How do I handle this? What I want to do? I'm going to be eating clean and stuff like that. How do I? So I veer off and I go to other people who are like us that do it their way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I take them guys with a grain of salt.
Hey, Charlotte.
They're in the gym, 10 hours a day, whatever. And they come out and they'll eat a hard boiled egg and they're keto. You know what I mean? They don't have the ups and downs that we have.
And they're like, they're at a point in their health journey where, okay, they may have been carnivore, they may have been keto for a long time, and their metabolic flexibility allows them to be more more along the lines to 150, 200 grams of carbs a day, as long as it's whole foods, right?
So, right,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they do that whole 30 stuff. And all.
Well, yeah, like the guy that lives in Costa Rica, he's still carnivore, but then he's eating things like papayas and pineapples.
He's eating a lot of fruit. Introduced a lot of fruit.
But there's one big difference here that he never talks about. He lives in Costa Rica, where there's fruit on a tree in his backyard. It's not being shipped halfway across the world before it gets to you.
It wasn't him and DeLauer that went at it. It was him and Ken Berry went at it.
Yeah.
Dr. Berry. Yeah. They went at it pretty good.
Well, that's only because every time you went to Ken Berry's live stream on a Monday night, half the comments of the 4,000 people there, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? He didn't want to have anything to do with it. He doesn't care, but everybody's hounding him to have to give his opinion about it. It's like, ask him about it. Don't ask me. This is what I think. Go ask him. But he did eventually, have something to say about it. But I don't know. It's crazy. But I think you want to, if you're starting out, especially if you're starting out, just try and find community.
Right.
Whether it's, there's lots of people here that have good communities. The three of us, Sheena's in the chat. And we all have good supportive communities, right?
Yeah.
Ron's there. Bob is sort of on one far end of the spectrum, but his community is really supportive too.
Yeah.
That's the whole
where
idea.
I think they should start.
Yeah, that's the whole idea of doing this. What we're doing here, we're going to bring up other people. I'm within the next couple days. I'm going to get a hold of other people to come up on, and we're going to take a page out of your book. I'm going to try to do some pre-recording of it, and because of people's different, me and Mike are retired, so we can do it anytime. But other people still work and stuff, so. I'm going to bring a lot of different people up, a lot of different entities, but it all revolves around food.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I noticed, and I'm sure you did too, a lot more people now, not that they made New Year's resolutions or anything, but a lot more people are starting to look at what they're eating.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they are.
Mike, Mike, Sheena wanted to know, have you lost any more weight? Because it looked like you're thinner.
I'm not. It's just I don't know what it is. I have days that I look like I'm fuller in the face than I am, but the weight's pretty much staying right around 243, 44, 45, something like that.
I'm getting his gobbler here.
Oh yeah, I got the doohickey dingle dangle.
Yeah. So, okay.
Thank you, though, Sheena. I appreciate that.
Gulf Coast Granny's here. Hello, Charlotte. How you doing? Let's see who else. Trumpet Master's here.
With Thomas DeLauer and Dr. Berg, if you can just listen to the message they
Alan's
have.
here.
Hey, Alan, if you listen to the message they have, you can learn a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But you got if you're looking for a source of information about keto, both of them are very, very good at it. But now, be ready to weed through their pitch also.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, and I look at it. I look at it like this. In the same token, where you want to get a driver's license, you got to learn how to drive. So if you're going to take lessons from, We Drive Right or Don't Drive This Way academies, okay, that's the information that you're going to get. Whether you can do the driving yourself, that's up to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I told Jason not too long ago. I said it's like riding a bike. If you have training wheels on it, eventually you got to take the training wheels off and do it yourself.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
Sooner or later.
And I think that's why even right from the start, when I started my YouTube channel, I thought, well, where's the best information coming from? As far as I'm concerned, anyways, yeah, okay, you can get these doctors on YouTube and you can get these people with million subscribers. But to me, the real information comes from us.
Right here.
Right.
And that's why I've talked to both of you, and I've got other people I want to talk to. And, that's the information I want to bring, because to me, someone somewhere is going to watch one of them and be like, okay, well, that, this person sort of is me now, so I'm going to sort of listen to how they went about it. Right. So that's really my idea behind what I've been doing lately.
The other thing about the Thomas DeLauer and Dr. Berg type channels, if you buy everything they say, you're going to be broke. Because I mean they you can't. You just can't. I mean, unless you got unlimited funds, you got way more disposable income. And if it's like that, if you got that much disposable income, hire you a private chef and let him do the cooking.
Yeah. Alan just hit the nail on the head. You can take all that information with a grain of salt.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, oh, get these farm raised, grass fed, this and all like that.
That was going to be my next thing.
go buy what you can afford. Go buy what
Absolutely.
I mean, there was another doctor on. I also watch the Diet Doctors. He's a cardiologist, and Brett Scher, his name is Dr. Brett Scher. He's a cardiologist. So he goes up and down. He's a big for low carb keto. Okay, whatever makes you metabolically getting yourself back in shape again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he said, don't fall for this grass fed stuff. Same thing with organic. And I can get an argument now. A lot of people with organic. Okay, I mean, I can lose my mind with it. All right. No, I mean, come on. Just the grass-fed stuff is just not my cup of tea. Okay. All of us, with the prices of it now, you don't hear too much more about eating grass-fed. Okay. So however our beef has been done for the past couple hundred years. Okay. That's the way I'm going to eat it. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Grass-fed is not what it's cut out to be. So, and neither is organic tomato. Take two of them side by side, hold them up. I'll mix them around a little bit. We'll do that.
I can't tell the difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's so Jason, let me ask you a question. What do you think, how do you, what was the thing that keep you going with it? I mean, other than, weight loss and stuff like that, but I mean, what made you keep rolling with it?
Hey, Ginger.
Well, it was a couple of things, I guess. Like the reason I started so that I could, ultimately, I just want to be around for my grandkids to be able to play with them, and because I have two grandsons now, and that's what kept me going the first year was that idea. But, after the first year, after I got rid of the weight and I started really paying attention to my sleep and, because at first I'll admit that I was not so focused on ingredients in my keto. I was just focused on low carb. Okay. I was still eating mayonnaise and junk oils and stuff like that. But then after the first year, I started really paying attention to the details. And that's when I really started feeling good. So that's, like I say, or I've said many times, is that, you'll always think you feel good until you really feel good. And that's when you'll realize that you felt like a bag of crap before. Because
the clarity was the thing that got me.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Yeah. Hey, it's funny. Yeah. Cause you're right. In that first year, it's like, oh, okay. Well, I remember even the first couple of weeks, I had a really hard time sleeping because I was so wound up. And just a sidebar on this is that, and it's funny, and it's one thing I've never really talked about too much, but even the 4 years keto, I didn't specifically cut back on drinking, like alcohol, maybe as much as I should have. It wasn't like I was drinking every day, but it was, have a couple of drinks on the weekend and stuff like that.
What would your go-to booze? Beer or?
No, I haven't drank beer for 10 years because it's full of gluten, right? So
yeah,
basically it's vodka or a rum, right? But lately, in the last, even if I have one or two drinks lately, it just ruins my next day, my sleep, and everything else. So I've given it up this year. Like, I don't drink anymore, and I'm telling you, the amount of energy that I have now, and the amount of energy I've had for the last few weeks, I've never had this kind of energy. So, and I feel better all the time, and I don't know, it's just one of those sidebar things. But to get back to your original question, it's just the way I feel that keeps me going. Knowing how I felt before, I'm like, okay, well, I can stick with it, stay fairly strict, and feel like I do now, or I can just go back to the way I was and feel like trash all the time.
Yeah. Just real quick, I'm going to say hello to a couple people in here. Shante, that town too. I'm going to be contacting you because I want you up on this panel here with us one time, please, if you don't mind. Also, Not for Nothing Homestead Ginger. Today is the start of hashtag Chili Smackdown 2023. She kicked it off today. Watch the rest of it for the rest of the month until the 28th. I'm on the 5th. Mike, you're on the 11th?
15th.
The 15th. Okay. So check that out. Pretty good stuff. I already said Gulf Coast Granny, hello. Sheena, hello. Ron's still in here. Sheena, what happened last week? You were supposed to be up with us. What happened? You forgot? We'll do it again. No, not a big deal. We'll do it again. Nothing but love. Thank you for coming in. Okay. So what do you think, Jason, would be your like your downfall to it? I mean, I know a lot of people talk about cheat days and stuff. I don't see that. I don't see that as good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's
Alan.
I've talked about it a lot about this on my channel too. I think it all comes down to being able to realize or understand what kind of mentality and mindset you have. There's lots of people out there that can do that. They can, on their birthday, they can go ham and eat the cake and just go completely off the rails, and they don't have any trouble getting right back on the next day. And they know what they're getting themselves into. So if they feel like trash for a couple of days, oh well, they just get right back on. And
Morgan,
the problem is that that's not me. I can't do it. I can't let myself stray too much, or I find, and I've done it in the last 4 years, I've gotten to the point where I think me and you or Tom were talking about those stupid little chocolate chip things that, you buy a bag to make recipes with, and then, 2 days later, you find yourself with a handful of them. And,
I got to clarify, 60, there's 60 little chips to a serving.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, unfortunately, I don't have I can't moderate anything, if I make the decision to quit. It was the same thing when I quit smoking 30 years ago. It was like, okay, well, tomorrow I'm going to quit. And that's when I quit. I can't be like, oh, well, I'll cut back and I'll cut, because it just never worked for me. Same with lifestyle changes for me. If it's something I really want to do, then I just do it and I don't look back, basically.
Yeah. Nancy, hello. How you doing? Welcome in. Mike, what about you? Mike, what's your, I mean, you're pretty much easy going with it. I mean, as far as you can get right back on the horse again.
I can have a meal and go off of it, and the very next meal I'm back on it, or the next day I'm back on it, whichever the case may be, whichever comes next, either the next meal or the next day. But a lot of times, if I do come off of it, there's only been a handful of times, I do it for I only have one meal, that I do it. That's It's one meal, and then I don't eat the rest of the day, and then the next day I'm back on it doing what I'm supposed to do. And the times that I've gone off are special occasions, like this past Thanksgiving, when I was in New York City, I went off, just a handful of times over each year is all it is, No, you could probably count them on both hands and still have enough fingers left over to stick a couple in your ear and summer ride. So it doesn't. I understand folks. The one thing here's something I don't understand is folks who will do. I'm not putting it down, but I don't understand it. They'll do keto all week long, and then they'll eat regular American diet, the standard American diet over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like you're undoing what you did all week long.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm having trouble highlighting here for some reason. I don't know why, but I'll just skip it.
Oh, I always had trouble doing that.
Yeah, I don't know why. But Alan wants to know, what is a cheat day? You know what I mean? Is it
I don't call them cheat days.
Eating too much keto food and stuff like that? And you know what? That's look. I cook clean. I do everything I do. I don't eat nothing out of a box. And we go through all that routine. People, yeah. But that's how I do it. Okay. I can't, for the life of me, I can't understand why I would want to put something that's in a box that's got that ingredients on it that I can't pronounce. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I can't pronounce them, that means that they're not good for me. Okay. And that's the only way, whether it's going to mess up my microbiome, whatever, that's, whatever. So just eating clean, but okay, to turn around and do that all week and then go and have a piece of cheesecake or a birthday cake or something like that, and then start that, people don't realize that yo-yo. And even if you're not diabetic, okay, you start doing that insulin spiking on there, okay, your health is it's deteriorating.
It's all over the place. It's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
So. I don't understand it. When you first start out, if there is one time you need to be strict, it's when you first start, more so than any other time. And that's, stop looking don't even consider doing the sweets for the first 2 months. You got to give it at least 2 months. And after that, you might be able to incorporate some kind of keto sweet in there every now and then.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, junk food's junk food. I don't care whether it's keto or whatever.
The thing that I'm getting out of this whole thing now is I'm starting to watch a lot of other people coming around and starting to watch their intake with the carbs and stuff, especially as food prices go up. The staples, they call them staples. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out who they are, but that you got to eat potatoes. You got to have, you're going to have this. French fries comes with a burger. Well,
Mhm.
no, show me the law. You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
just didn't make sense to it. And know where your food comes from. That's the biggest thing.
Mhm.
Once you start feeling better, okay, you got to drink a lot of water. I mean, that's part of it. You got to stay hydrated, this and that. And the myths that drive me crazy about, oh, you better lay off the salt because of high blood pressure. Well, I have issues with that. Okay.
Mhm.
We need to take in more salt as we do a stricter keto. But
Yes.
getting rid of the cravings is my big thing. That's my big. What I would tell people. You don't
Mhm.
have to worry. You don't have to worry about eating 3 meals a day. You don't have to worry about having a dessert. Once you get rid of that thought process, once it leaves your
Mhm.
head that you know what, I don't need that cake or I don't need that piece of bread,
Right.
and just go back
Yeah.
to that one.
Yeah. I think it's sort of once you focus on the protein and fats, again, a lot of people can never get off the sweets. And, honestly, a lot of people still survive and do well, even if they do have the treats, like I did for the first year. I was all about making fat bombs and, I did all that stuff. Right. But I think it really comes down to being able to learn when you're actually full and then making sure that you eat until you're full. Don't just eat what what's on your plate. Like, to me, it quite often, and I don't know, it might probably drive my wife nuts, is that we'll have dinner. Like last night we had, just chicken breast in the oven and all that. And, I wound up having the majority of what we made. She ate hers. And then I cooked up, 3 pounds of ground beef and ate a pound of it afterwards because I hadn't eaten all day. So, it's unfortunately, if you're on a standard diet, typically most people don't even know what it actually means to be full because they're always eating empty calories, right? So until you try and eat a pound of bacon and then you feel that satiety and what it is to be full, I think the cravings get a lot of people. And like you say, Tom, I think another thing is that having enough salt in your diet,
Oh,
I
yeah.
find what can really help those sweet cravings. Like it's amazing. And, I've tried it and I've talked to people that say, oh, I always have these. I always want something sweet. I always want something sweet. Okay. Take some salt, put it in your mouth. I can almost guarantee it'll get rid of that sweet craving. Right. Like it's sometimes when you're craving sweet things, it's because you're low on sodium.
Yep.
Right. You don't have to like put a teaspoon of salt in your mouth or anything, but just a pinch of salt can actually help with that craving for sweet things.
Now, also watching Sheena, okay, something I learn from everybody, and that's that. I love it because you know what, it gives you a different outlook on things. Wow, listen to that. All right,
Mm-hmm.
Sheena was having a hard time sleeping. Okay, and somebody told her about butter. Have some butter at night before you go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I checked into it. Sure thing. Something about it. Boom, will put your lights out. Now, I also seen honey, salt. Okay, make that mixture up and take that to go to sleep with. That would put me in a diabetic coma.
Sure.
Well,
But
milk has an ingredient in it that can induce sleep, make you sleepy.
They said butter and milk. Okay, now
So that's that so the butter makes sense because it's a milk product. It's a dairy product, so that makes
it's got
sense.
salt in it, and it's got
Yeah.
salt in it also. But
Yeah.
that was intriguing to me. That was something I said, wow.
Yeah. I've heard about salt before too. I've heard some people say that, an hour before bed, if you mix in half a teaspoon of salt with like a big glass of water, it'll help you sleep. The problem with that too, if I drink too much water before I go to bed, then I'm up
You
in
got
the
my
middle of the night
syndrome.
anyways, right? So it kind of defeats the purpose, right?
If I put salt in my water before I go to bed, I dream about surfboards. So I try to stay away from that.
Yeah.
Take D3. Yeah. I take D3. I take all my vitamins. I backed up. I got to tell you all something though. I did drop another medication, okay, and didn't work. I had to go back on it again because all of a sudden my blood sugar went through the roof. Didn't go past a danger zone or anything else like that, but it raised it up quite a bit. Okay, and the reason why I did it was because we were getting close to going to see my doctor, and I needed to get blood work done. Mike knows the story about it, but
Yeah.
I went to go get my blood done. I had an appointment the whole bit, but I wasn't in the system, whatever the hell that means. But at the same token, they kept sending me information on my phone that that you arrived and whatever that story was. So the deal was that I was going to talk to my doctor. We were going to drop my that one medication for me. So I called the doctor's office, and this is what the scary part about when I say take control of your own health. Okay, because all you are is a number. Okay, you're an HMO number. Okay, an insurance number, and that's all you are. To see 10 minutes to see a doctor to get your life in order, when you think you're overweight or whatever your problems are, you're going to solve that in 10 minutes. You're completely off base. Okay, so when I called the doctor's office to cancel the appointment because it didn't make no sense for me to go there, because I didn't have blood work done, the girl says to me, "Mr. Garvey, what are you calling about?" I says, I can't get my blood work done, so I'm canceling my appointment. There's no need me coming. She said, "Well, what did you want to do with your blood?" What? I said, "I want to see if it's red." Freaking maniac. Boom! I slammed the phone down. So you got. That's why I keep saying to everybody, eat your whole foods, eat whole good foods,
And in Hemlock, nice to see you, buddy.
and stay on track with what you're doing. So,
yeah, it's tough though. Like it comes at people from everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm almost thankful that I don't work in places like an office. Like I've worked the office life before. I worked in an office, and it's like every day there was something or else. Oh, well, here's donuts in the lunchroom. Here's this. There's cake for this person's birthday. It's like it comes at people. Temptation is just so tough for a lot of people. Yeah. But even like at least in a restaurant, I don't know. There's most restaurants, have some redeeming foods that are available to people, right? Most people still eat all the stuff they shouldn't be, but
yeah, I was a stickler with French fries and stuff like that. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. That's water under the bridge. That's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you see your future look with moving ahead with it? Just staying the course, or have you ever dabbled? Have you ever dabbled with carnivore or anything like that?
I get closer to carnivore every week.
Okay, good.
Basically, I still eat vegetables once in a while, but
it's me.
Typically 9 times out of 10, again, if I'm making something for the two of us to eat, then I'll make a protein, and then if my wife wants a starch with it, then I'll make it to go with it, and then we'll make some vegetables, and I'll have a small portion of vegetables. Ultimately, and I don't really have anything against them. I just don't feel as good when I eat vegetables.
Yep.
It just it just upsets my stomach sometimes, and it's like if I can just eat, and again, I'll make 2 nice big ribeyes on a Sunday night from a local farm, and my wife will eat like half of one of them, and then I'll just eat the other 1.5. Right. So to me, that's all I really need. So,
Mike, what's your outlook going on? I know you said a week or two ago that you wanted to get back on the wagon again and drop some more weight.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, and I've actually already started it. I haven't bought. For a while there, we had bought the so-called keto-friendly bread because my wife wanted sandwiches, so we bought it, and I had it. I had some of them, but I did it less than she did, and so I've gotten away from buying that. I haven't bought any of that in probably about 2 weeks, and we haven't had any in the house. So
do you feel that stuff? Do you feel that stuff affects you?
I never did.
Yeah.
But I've been, kind of stuck where I'm at for, a long time. And so I'm hoping that if I cut that out, it'll help break it. And I'll start going down again. And also I'm going to go back to being a little more stricter. Watching, I'd gotten a little less strict, and I want to go back to being more strict. And I want to try the pasta that you and Alan make, that Nita over at Ketogenic Woman.
She's another one I want to grab a hold of and get her on.
Because that looks really good. That's from what I've seen. It looks at least the most like pasta that I've seen.
Okay, my next deal, I'm going to break away a little bit. Okay, and Jason, this is right up your alley, and matter of fact, I'm a little afraid to bring it up, but February 14th and February 15th. Okay, I'm gonna do a little not a challenge, but just like a little everybody get involved in it. Okay, and I want to do St. Chaffles Day. Okay. I want everybody between the 14th and the 15th. Everybody come up with a chaffle recipe. The only thing I'm going to put it up on YouTube. No crazy rules. Just the egg and a half a cup of cheese, any kind of cheese you want. And then from there, whatever ingredient you want to put into it to make it your own or make it special for Valentine's Day or St. Chaffles Day. Let's put it that way. Instead of a box of chocolates, you can make a chocolate ones, whatever. Okay. And it's open to everybody. And we're going to try to put it up to be hashtag St. Chaffle Day. And the only other restrictions but the only other things to do would be you would have to mention my channel and Mike's channel either in the thumbnail or in the video at some point. So I'm going to put that up, invite everybody. Okay. Even if you don't have a little chaffle maker, you can do it. You can make it in a pan or you can make it. There's other ways to make the ingredients and stuff like that. But I think it'd be kind of fun.
If you just have a regular waffle iron, you don't have to have the mini. You can do it in the regular waffle iron.
Yeah. So I'm a little hesitant because we got the chaffle king right here.
Right there. Yes, sir. So, he can make. I'm telling you, folks, if you hadn't seen his chaffles,
got a lot of
you need to check them out. He can make a chaffles.
Man, I lose sleep trying to come up with different chaffles. I've got a few, and I've got a couple ideas for chaffles that may or may not fly or may piss
we got to put
off,
it up.
But it's I do have. I'm actually going to try and come out with a new recipe every week for a while. See how it goes. I don't know. I just find that it's fun to try and take something so simple like an egg and some cheese, just throw something else in it and see what happens, right?
Yeah, we could do that too, Ron. I mean, Ron made a suggestion here. Hashtag the Keto Show with Tom. I'm like,
come on in.
That's for me. We're good with that. Just the idea. I'm trying to bring more people together.
Ron says he's in. Ron says he's in.
to get on board with doing it. And I got to tell you something. Okay, I don't know. Everybody says travel. That sounds crazy and this and that. I tell you what, you got to try it. All right.
It's way better than you're sitting there thinking it is. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's good.
I'm still a pretty good sized guy here, but I made hamburgers and put them on top. I couldn't eat it. I couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
Okay, very filling, but very great taste. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's on board. I'll let everybody know about it. I'll post it, and anybody can join in. Just the only thing is that you got to mention us, Mike and myself, or hashtag the Keto Show. I'll put all the things in there.
Now let's see. Since I've been on keto, this last birthday was the last two birthdays. I'm about to be 5 years on keto. The last two birthdays are the only birthdays I didn't do it. I had a chaffle cake.
Yeah, I did. I made Murray one,
and it was great. I mean, I made it with protein powder and
that's when I realized I can't use any kind of. That's the other thing. Okay, how they say certain things. Well, you don't have to worry about sugar because you can have this alternative sugar. Okay. It's all sugar. Your liver doesn't know that you're putting monk fruit in your face. Okay. All it knows is that's boom. We got to take care of this right here and there.
Mhm.
So that's the other thing. Now that's just me. All right. But I made a chocolate chaffle with I made chocolate whipped cream, heavy cream, strawberries and blueberries. Okay. I felt like I got hit by Muhammad Ali. Bam.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can't have that stuff. So that's when you learn after doing it for a while what you can and can't do. So people that start, I had friends of mine who started keto, and right off, I mean, the second day they were making fat bombs.
Mm-hmm.
See, they,
Okay.
man,
You know what I mean? And making all this, eating this, all this alternative. One lady I know for a fact got sick. They're very sick from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just, crazy.
Yeah.
Ron says starting, is it this Thursday, Ron, that you're going to start? He says live Thursday streaming, Ron's Keto Cafe, crazy chaffle recipes. Is it this Thursday? What time are you going to be doing it?
Yeah, Ron makes a lot of them too.
Ron's a good cook. Ron knows what he's doing in the kitchen.
Well, everything in the chaffle mix
definitely do.
is kryptonite from Morgan. Egg and cheese, no good for you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
7 o'clock for Ron. Okay, get back, Jason. So, your weight loss. What'd you say you lost? Like 40 some pounds, or 30 some pounds, or 50 some pounds, or something?
No, at the most, it was right on 80 pounds.
80. Whoa!
Again,
wow.
It was one of these things where I weighed myself when I started, and then the last time I even got on my scale was I got to 198 from 278. Wow. So, but after that, it was like, again, I was like, okay, well, I feel great. I'm able to stick to what I'm doing. So I'll just, I put the scale away. I put the glucose or ketone strips away. I did away with all that stuff, and I just made it my life. And, I can't say that the last sort of 2.5 years, I haven't, I could have done better, but it's not like I gained a bunch of weight back. The last sort of 3-4 months, though, I've been the same, I think as you, Mike. I'm like, oh, I got to get back on staying more strict with this. And that's where I have sort of, like I say, I would kick the alcohol. I've been able to kick most of the energy drinks. The only ones I have now are like Zevia energy drinks, or there's some up here that are just a soda water with caffeine in them.
Yeah.
But they don't have all the ingredients that Monsters and Bang and Rockstar and all that have in it. Because the problem with those is that ultimately I guess I never really got any benefit as far as energy went. I just like drinking them. So I wound up having them too much.
Yeah, I drink it for the taste more than anything.
Yeah. So
and I have 1, maybe 2 a day.
Yeah. And I was doing the same thing too. And I don't know, I just felt that for the little amount of benefit I was getting out of them, it was hurting my progress and my maintenance for what I was doing. So I just decided to cut those out as well. And I have felt better. Now I'm drinking a lot more coffee than I did before.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No. So it's a bit of a trade-off, but like I say, these days after cutting those things out in the last few weeks, I've got a lot more energy. So it's funny how the things you think you're doing to get energy are the ones that's sucking it out of you. So
I had to back off some cheese, and there again, was eating a lot of chicken and stuff like that, high protein, and wondering why my blood sugar wasn't going down. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's weird. They say between 70 and 90 is where you should be with your sugar, but that changed a lot. They keep changing. They keep moving the goalpost on it. Okay,
right.
Same thing as your blood pressure. Okay, so I mean, I have questions about that, but eating a lot of cheese and stuff like that, and all of a sudden I'm saying, wait a minute, blood sugar is going a little bit crazy. Well, the more protein I have, less fat, my blood sugar goes up. It'll go up maybe 10, 11 points, 12 points, whatever. But it's still going up, and that's not good. So I backed off a lot of the protein. And I'm trying to mix it now a little bit more. And you're right with the vegetables also. I have my 4 or 5 that I go to. All right. No more. I dabble a little bit with like I love butternut squash, and soups and stuff like that. All right. But the carbs are very high.
They are high.
So I mean, I'll cut them, bake them off, and I'll take like 1 serving, and I'll cut that in half. Okay, but I know for a fact I'm playing with danger. You know what I mean? Just to almost like a keto carb cycle type of thing. Okay, but I'm at the age now where I can't be playing them kind of games because the rebound is not good. Especially now it's pretty cold out here in Vegas, and my walks have backed off a little bit. And you got to move. I mean, you just can't do this. You just can't do this and not move around. Mike has a couple dogs that he takes a walk with the dog. So I find myself in keto. I mean, Tom Garvey, the keto cook edit room too much.
That is so easy to get lost in it.
Yeah, and sit there and do this and trying to do that, and then I get up, I can't move the whole bit. So yeah, I gotta change things up also.
And Ron, let me ask you, Ron, if you said you made a strawberry cheesecake this week, did you use any like chocolate for the crust or anything, or is just you made a crustless one? Also, Sheena's talking about she got in a pie eating contest coming up, and she made a specification in there. She was to enter that hers was no crust, so she's making herself a pie this week. That's I think she said this week that's a no crust pie. So I'll be interested to see that.
Yeah, Alan said allulose will lower your blood sugar. Not for me, Alan. I can't do it.
It affects people different. Some folks it does differently. My wife, it lowers hers. It does help lower hers.
Yeah, I tried it all different ways. And what happened when I mean it doesn't work for me? I mean it bothers my stomach.
You're in the small percentage there. Most of the folks, the allulose is the one that they can handle with the stomach. It doesn't bother them because like the erythritol and
any kind of sugar, alcohol,
the other stuff that it gives them the bubble guts but the allulose doesn't. So they use allulose instead, which I've gotten to where I prefer. If I'm going to use something, more times than not, it's going to be allulose.
I'm to the point where I mean, and more power to people that can handle it, but I'm more in the corner of kill the cravings, get away from it, don't need it. Okay, if you don't crave a dessert, why would you need to use the allulose and everything else like that? Okay, even Marie. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with Marie whatsoever. She lost 50 pounds doing it this way, and she can eat anything she wants. She will have fruit where I can't. Not that I can't. A couple of weeks ago, I had 4 grapes. Yeah, it threw me into a tailspin. So whether the allulose works for other people is fine. Okay, but if I kick the cravings completely for it, and I don't have to go chase my tail to make a dessert because I'm going to feel better. You know what I mean, for having a dessert. And there again, I'm not downplaying anybody or anything like that. That's just me. Me was giving up bread, potatoes, and stuff like that. That's where the problem was with me. Sweet tooth, I had a sweet tooth. That all come with the high carb diet I had. I mean, I was on. The other night was trying to figure out how many carbs a day was I eating. I'm telling you what, needed a dump truck to carry it around.
I love that. I was a Cookie Monster, and I love fresh bread.
Yeah, I used to make
any bread. Period. I love bread, and it was. So the cookie between the two, I mean, which one's about like the other, really, if you think about it. Bread and cookies, they're not that far apart.
So, Jason, when we talked a while back, we talked also about intermittent fasting and stuff like that.
Hey, Jonna,
you want to share your points on that?
Yeah. Well, I can start by saying that I pretty much by default fast every day, most days, at least during the week, because of my job, I wind up, sometimes I'll eat lunch, but I typically won't eat anything until at least noon. during the day. Even on the weekends, it's
What's
usually
up, Gary?
I won't eat breakfast. I'll just wait till noon and I'll have lunch and, have a nice big lunch. Like if I'm at home on the weekends, it's hamburger patties and steaks and stuff like that on the weekends. But during the week, by default, I usually wind up eating between maybe 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day.
Okay.
I give myself like that 4-hour window, an 8:30 kind of thing. I try and stop eating. Again, for me, I find it more beneficial to cut off eating at a certain time every day because, again, I'm focused on getting better sleep every night.
Yep.
And I find if you can cut off eating early, the earlier you can cut it off, I find the better you sleep. As far as fasting goes in general, I think it's a great tool. In the last 4 years and all the different communities I've been a part of and, been around thousands of people that do this, I would say that it's being used too much.
Yep.
That's my
Yeah.
personal
Yeah.
opinion. And it's being used at the wrong times. And I was going to go back to this when we were talking about cheat days and stuff like that and cheat meals. I don't know how many people, and this comes a lot from Instagram and people like, I went off the rails yesterday. I'm going to fast for 2 days to get back on track. I'm like, why? Like,
Wrong thing to do.
Why are you doing this? Like, unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand is that's disordered eating. That's punishing yourself for what you did yesterday. Again, I have no problem with people having cheat days. Like you're saying, Mike, I can't do it. Lots of people can.
Neither can
Ultimately, I think if you plan a cheat meal or a cheat day, it's a lot better and a lot easier to get right back on than if it's one of these things where, and again, that's one of the reasons I cut out alcohol too, is because it lowers your sort of inhibitions to that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times you can wind up doing that. You're out at a party and, we were out on New Year's Eve and I had a few drinks and it's like, oh, so I was probably snacking on little things that I shouldn't have been. Right. So, I think that the fasting ultimately, if it's used as a tool, I think it's great. But again, ultimately, as like a society, I think a lot of people are just using it way, way, way too much, and again, if you've, was it Jonah's in here? They were saying they've been fasting recently. I think that was them that was doing fast. It's great if you want to do it for a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, right? You want to do some alternate day fasting just to, change things up. If you're in a stall, a couple of days of fasting, 48-hour fast will break a stall pretty quick, right?
Right.
But it's the people that are constantly fasting.
Dead up and down.
Yeah, but it's not, to me, it's not necessarily the fasting that's the problem. The problem comes in the fact that they're not eating enough, right? Like if you're alternate day fasting, like if you're one day you're eating and one day you're not, and then you're eating and then you're not, well, that day that you're eating, you best be eating 2,000-3,000 calories of food, right?
Maurice,
you can't survive
right
on that for too long. Again, if you're going to do it for a week or two, well, that's one thing, but a lot of people do it every day, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of scares me a little bit.
I only eat when I'm hungry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for instance, yesterday, Maurice says to me, "It is 3:30. Are you going to eat anything? What are we going to eat tonight?" I said, "Wow." I said, "I didn't realize it. I wasn't hungry. Wasn't hungry at all." So that time frame. Well, it's 8:00, and I understand people that are still working. Okay, break time, whatever, and lunchtime. Okay, and they go home and have dinner, whatever. That's fine. I have no problems with that whatsoever. Okay, but being me right now, being retired and trying to get where they're telling me you can reverse this type 2 diabetes. Okay, I already dropped a weight where I can maneuver. I can get around. I'm like, wow, well, this is great. Okay. And to turn around and not to eat for a couple days. Okay. And then go back and gorge myself, not doing your system any good as far as I'm concerned.
No.
Okay.
Which I'm having a doctor-induced fast next week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, colonoscopy.
There you go.
So.
Yeah.
Along with the cleanse.
Yeah.
You might drop a few pounds there.
Might. Hey, yeah.
How'd this chalupa get in there?
He sends out. This doctor sends out a packet of stuff, for you to take and all, and it came in the mail, and he included this Gatorade pouch for you to mix with the drink that you have to do, so you kind of kill that bad taste.
Hey, chef.
So I'm looking at it, and it's the sugared one, and I'm like, do I or don't I?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's important to get that done also, because I've known people who actually were pretty chunky throughout their elder years, okay, and then since they started pushing this colonoscopy, about cancers and stuff, once they went on keto and or carnivore and they started dropping a lot of weight, they had discovered that there was colon cancers. There was cancers in there that just weren't detected because they were so impacted. Okay, so once they started getting this thing taken care of, and luckily a couple of them caught it soon enough to where it wasn't a problem, and the doctor said, "See, if you didn't have this weight loss, we would have never found it. No matter how how the cleansing and stuff goes like that, they would have just never in the areas that they were at." So that's what I was told by this one friend of mine.
I hear you, Lance. I hear you. But my mama had colon cancer twice. She had colon cancer twice.
Wow.
So the cancer didn't get her, but the pneumonia that she got while she was in the hospital kind of did.
Yeah. And see the item we were talking about with the fasting and stuff like that. So to follow a couple of these doctors, was it Dennis Fung, I guess the name, or whatever his name is?
Jason Fung.
Jason Fung. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, something in the beginning he sounded like he was okay with it, but then he sort of went off the rails with it.
You have to remember what he's doing though. Like the clinic they have here in Toronto is it's medical fasting. It's not weight loss fasting. It's actually treatment for like things like kidney disease and stuff like that. Like it's not. They're not fasting for the sake of fasting and autophagy and all that. They're using a fasting protocol to treat medical conditions. So again, that's where people sort of get confused with, okay, well, him and his team are doing great things, and he's a really smart guy and everything, and he's putting all his information out there, but it's not really for everybody.
Right.
That's right.
You have to be able to take pieces of it, but you have to know what parts are, for
you.
Yeah. It's the same thing with, doctors that prescribe, like a really high fat ketogenic diet for treating things like cancer and epilepsy and all that. It has its place, but the problem is a lot of that has leaked into society as what keto is. Keto is eating butter and bacon all the time.
That's where
realistically it's not. That's that. But unfortunately, a lot of people have cherry picked
that's the misinformation. That's the misinformation.
The clinical definition of ketosis, which is used to treat things like epilepsy, and they've taken it and they've stamped that on everybody that eats low carb. So.
And also people who go ballistic with the ketosis strips to see if they're in ketosis. Okay, I'm not in ketosis. Give me a stick of butter, right? That's the furthest thing from the truth. You go in and out of that constantly.
Well, if you're doing it with the urine sticks, after you've been in ketosis for a while, it is notoriously incorrect.
Exactly. Exactly. That's when you become fat adapted.
Exactly. Exactly.
Once your body starts actually using the ketones, it's not wasting as much. And that's why most people, like if I was to use my meter right now, I haven't had carbs for probably 2-3 days. I could check my ketones and I would guarantee it's under 0.5.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
May not even measure much, right? So, but that freaks people right out, because they've been told the higher your ketone level, the better. Well, no, actually, that's not the way it works. But it may work that way at first for the first 3 or 4 months. But that's, to me, the first 2, 3, 4 months. Really, if you're going to make it a lifestyle and you get the hang of it, that's as much as you need to test. Once you're in ketosis, then to me, it's just a waste of money. So.
The simple fact is you got to get your body back to where it's functioning correctly, the way it's supposed to function.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So either at one point now you're doing nothing but glucose. Okay. So your body probably hasn't seen ketones since you were a child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So going in and out of that, or if you were put away in a monk, facility for years, then you would know. But my point is that we're all one side and never got into that other part of ketosis. But once you get your body in the middle, okay,
Mm-hmm.
where you're gonna also use ketones, and you're also gonna use glucose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The brain,
Yeah.
both use both. Okay. So one is a little slighted the other way to the glucose side of it. Okay. You're just not gonna. That's what made me wow. Whoa, I feel so much. The clarity was like, wow. I know when my sugar's high. I can't see with my glasses on. Everything's blurry. Okay. And I know when I'm in ketosis, because the clarity is something else. I don't have to wear my glasses. I can read everything like that. That's, to me, is insane how your body reacts that way. Mm-hmm. So if I went to the eye doctor now and I had yoo-hoo and a yo-ho, whatever they call that crap, before I went to the eye doctor the next day, I'd be like blind as a bat. So I would have bifocals, look like Norton Nork, So it does affect every part of your body. It really does.
Mm-hmm. And your body's pretty intelligent too. Like I say, you can eat nothing but fatty meat, and you may not take 1 gram of glucose in ever, but your body's still going to make the glucose it needs, right? So it'll make, when it needs glucose, it's going to make the glucose it needs. So
and that's where people get it mixed up. Well, you're not in ketosis anymore, so therefore it's not working. This is not. You get your body back to where it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Last in October when I went and had my physical, the doctor said, he drew the blood and he said, "Oh, I see you've got." He said, "This is concerning." I said, "What?" And he goes, "Well, you have ketones in your blood." I said, "Oh." I said, "Am I in ketoacidosis?" "Oh, no. I said, "Why is it concerning?" I said, "That's why I want to see that in there. I'm good."
Yep.
And he goes, "Oh, yeah, you do keto." And I said, "Yes." And I said, "So I'm not, as long as it's not ketoacidosis, I'm happy."
Yeah, it's just to the point now where everybody, there's all different conflicting things that is being said and stuff like that, and that's why I wanted to do this with Mike. We both agreed, and also with you, Jason, to do these kind of things, have these talks with people, see different ideas, different things. Alan, I mean, me and Alan went back and forth about we couldn't sleep. What the hell's going on where we're having trouble with sleeping? So whether it's an age thing or whatever, I don't know. Okay. Alan right now is doing his workouts and stuff like that. And that seems to be helping. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it's the whole sleep thing is kind of, I don't know. It's, I can get by with a lot less sleep nowadays, but I still try and, I try and focus more on getting good quality sleep when I am trying to sleep. So I don't know. I just find it helps my days better.
I have never been one of the world's great sleepers ever.
Me neither.
If I get 4 to 6 hours sleep a night, I've done real good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was taking melatonin for a while and all that stuff like that. And then if I have a good protein and fatty meal, okay, I sleep great. Okay. And if I just alter it, like some nights you don't feel like having, we'll just have some salad or something like that just to get through. Because I'm not that hungry to begin with. You know what I mean? But just to do that, I sleep like crap. And you know what?
I've done melatonin, and I matter of fact, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing melatonin, and it may get me an hour or two more, but you know, if I was getting 4, I might get 6 now.
Yeah,
I use it too. So, you know,
and Jonna says her A1C was really good, 5.4. That's excellent. That's excellent A1C.
Two more down. You're not diabetic no more, kiddo.
No, she's
5.2 is
5.4 is not diabetic. That's you got to get above 5.6 to be a diabetic.
Yeah, 5.2 is the threshold where they will stop all medications and get you off of it.
Well, it might be where they stop that. That's true, but as far as when they'll call anything when you're 5.5 and 5.6, they'll say you're pre-diabetic, then I stick around 5.3, 5.4.
You have to look at who comes up with these numbers really to be.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I do? Go Google and go to the Mayo Clinic. I trust what they say.
Yeah. I turned around and I was happy to go from 7.6 to 5.6 and be pre-diabetic. I never thought I'd be that happy to be a pre-diabetic.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We don't here in Canada. It's not impossible to get done. The problem here in Canada, like with things like a CGM, like the continuous glucose monitor, you can't get one. They will not prescribe you one unless you're diabetic. Like even if you want to get one for a couple of months just to monitor your glucose levels, even if you're just curious, you can't get one. Like it's illegal.
Wow.
Same thing, like even things like A1C, it's getting that tested those kind of tests is a lot harder here. So I've never actually had mine tested. I just sort of rely on, knowing that I was probably at least pre-diabetic when I started, and now I'm not. So
here's the kicker. Here's the kicker with that. And I always ask the question because the insurance won't pay for it. And to get your insulin checked, to get your insulin level checked, okay, is $400 or $500 test.
Yeah.
Okay. And they won't go for that because guess what? It's not relevant to selling drug medications for type 2 diabetes. Okay. I always say this, they linked type 1 diabetes with type 2 diabetes. Type 2 is a metabolic syndrome. If that's a problem. Type 1 is you don't produce either none or very little insulin. Okay.
Your pancreas has quit.
Right. So now, talking to a person I met a couple of weeks ago, okay. Matter of fact, it was with Sleeper Barbecue on one of his channels. This guy had two pancreases. They did a transplant. One didn't work well, and they did another one with it. So I'm wondering when he was talking, he was saying, "Well, when I was diabetic." Oh, what are you talking about? When you were, how'd you do that? And then he said to me, "I had a transplant. Now I'm not diabetic anymore." Okay. I said, okay. So that took me back a little bit. All right. So when you're producing too much insulin, okay, no matter what, even if you don't know you're diabetic or whatever, okay, and your time, people who wear monitors, okay, just to see where their blood sugar is, okay, that kind of drives me a little crazy because they don't have problems. They regroup right away. So within that time frame, so if you see that you ate a piece of chocolate or rice, let's make it easier. You have a rice for dinner, and you see your blood glucose go up. Okay. Well, I had too much rice, so it went up. Okay. But the problem with me is it stays there.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody else comes down. It's within 2 hours, which is the normal. How they say is normal. Right. Okay. So to knowing that you're going to eat starch and your blood sugar is going to go up, well, how high is it going to go? If you're just looking for numbers, That doesn't make any sense to me. You know it's going to go up, you know it's going to come back down.
Right.
Mine goes up to the point where it goes too high. I feel like crap for the rest of the night, probably into the next day. So that's kind of, you get, I don't see the need for just anybody to have a glucose meter. That's just, I don't know.
Yeah, and again, I think it's one of those things where, again, if you don't know how you react to certain things, it's more of a curiosity thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey,
Where
Craig.
you could have you could get the actual monitors, even if you only used it, like a lot of these programs, they'll only run for 14 days, right? So
Yeah.
you can get enough data in 14 days of just doing what you do every day. And the app will say, okay, well, your recovery is where it should be. And, your spikes aren't too high. So you can say, okay, well, this is good.
You can figure out what you got to eliminate pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you should know right off the bat that,
Well,
if you're going to have rice or potatoes or
for
that
sure,
kind of
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think with a lot of people in this community, it's also, again, to your point with like sugar alcohols, it don't really care what anybody says about them. Some people react.
that's it.
Like that. It's you can't. Some people, you put anything in your mouth, you don't even have to swallow it, and your blood sugar will go up.
Bam.
Right. It is.
So that has nothing to do with what kind of sweet thing you put in your mouth, right? Whether it's sugar or allulose. Some people, their body just reacts, and then it just automatically starts pumping out
You're
insulin.
super sensitive to it,
right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where the CGM can be beneficial for some people to be able to say, hey, okay, well, I still want to be able to have this in my diet. It's not rice or potatoes or anything, but they can look at it over a couple of weeks and see if it's actually harming their progress. But again, it's one of those things where, is it worth the money you have to spend on it?
Well,
it's hard to say.
This is my point. Okay. I have 4 glucose meters right now in my drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll take 4 readings. Okay. And they're all different.
Yeah.
None of them are the same. And I'm going to make a video on that just to prove that point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trusting a machine with what you're putting here. Okay. When okay, you go on your phone. How many carbs are in butternut squash? It'll tell you 16 grams per serving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm on 20 or below. Do I need to eat that? No.
Yeah.
No, see my point? That's my point. Yeah. And then afterwards to take my blood sugar, especially if you're on insulin. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you take one unit I have, take the blood sugar, and it says 200. Okay. And then you take another one, it says 140. Not that they have that vary, but some do.
Yeah.
Okay. And just it all depends on the money, what you're spending. So yeah. I mean, you get 4 different things. So now, which one do I take for my insulin? How many units of insulin do I take for that? So that's a problem as far as I'm concerned. But people haven't went that far to see how your sugar levels are.
See, Paige, my wife Paige, she wears a constant glucose monitor, but she's type 1 diabetic, and it is linked to the insulin pump that she wears.
It's crucial.
And exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so crucial. And I'm telling you, that sensor, it's amazing. You have to. It's not like everybody thinks, oh, just put it on and it'll start working. No, that's not how it works. You got
So see, because
put it on and you got to calibrate it.
Yeah. I challenged my insurance company about it. Okay, actually, we're basing my medication on this meter. Where's the meter stand within the ranks?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the cheapest or is it the highest?
Yeah.
Right. Where does it stand? Well, this one you have here is middle of the road. Duh. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. That's and not to be ranting on it or anything like that, but I mean that's you should know exactly and your doctor. Like I said, a 10-minute visit to the doctor's office is not going to cure you from obesity or type 2 diabetes or anything like that. No. So you got to take care of yourself with it.
Yep. No, I agree. And I think I don't know what it's like now because honestly, I don't follow a lot of the channels that I used to when I was first starting. Now it's more like hanging out with other creators and in the community, and they're not even all keto, right? Like it's just networking and trying to know as many creators as I can these days. So I don't know what it is in like the mainstream keto sphere right now, but at one point it was all about data, right? You know, you got people like Goody Beats who was just all about, oh, what do I eat and work in the gym, and then the guy disappears and comes back, and now he's basically, well, he owns part of was it Keto Mojo or something like that,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
that's all he's about now.
Yeah,
but rightly so. That's his business, right?
Yeah,
So now,
he's checking, he's testing all these different products and seeing how it affects his blood sugar and giving it the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And
yeah, you go on his Instagram these days, and that's all he does. Oh, you want to know how? You don't want to know what this does, and you'll slam it back and tested it. But again, it's just advertising, right?
Yeah, and that in my book, okay, that's playing with your health also.
It can be,
yeah. I mean, that's like banging your head against the wall and saying, "Well, let's see how long it takes till I start bleeding."
Yeah, I think if anyone though, like it goes back to being able to look at where they are in their journey, like people like Logan and Thomas and all that. Metabolically, they can afford a little bit more leeway, making a living out of doing things. You know, like I go back to looking at. I was watching lately. Remember that show, Man versus Food?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alan Zimmerman.
Well, there's Andrew Zimmer he had his own show, but that was I can't remember his. You remember?
I know who you mean. That one guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but
he got
sick. You had to basically look at, okay, well, this guy is out there for a living, you know, eating all this garbage, right? It can't be sustainable. And then obviously, you know, like it didn't last because he couldn't, you know, he couldn't basically sustain that kind of lifestyle without getting sick, right?
Adam something, I forget his last name.
Adam. Yeah.
I don't know. I just actually watched him on Hot One, the Hot Ones show.
Well, he had both of them got sick. If you look into their bios, they got Zimmer. What's his name? Zimmer.
Zimmer. Yeah.
He did those strange foods and all.
He almost got poisoned that time.
Yeah.
I mean, the other guy, that Adam, whatever his name is, he was out here in Vegas. He was at the
Richmond, Adam Richmond. That's it.
Richmond, yeah.
At the cardiac burger joint out here, you know, and whatever, the bacon, piles of bacon, this and that, eating all that stuff.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah, but you look at people like, I don't know if you've seen. Again, there's so many of these competitive eaters that
the hot dog guys. I mean,
well, even Joey Chestnut, that guy's a train wreck. That guy's a walking heart attack. I don't know how he's still alive. But there's other people that, you know, you can watch on YouTube that
Kobayashi guy, he ran into health problems.
Yeah.
And that's why he's pretty much washed out because of the health problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. It's some of them get famous on YouTube and just go overboard, and you know, all the things they can do when they're young. Yeah, he
was the number one guy for several years. In that competitive eating stuff, and then Joey Chestnut came in, and now he's been around for a while doing it, and he's been. And I'm like you. I'm like, how are you not sick all the time? You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like anything. It's relative to anything else. Okay. If you're gonna, the more bigger channels they are, the more advertising they get. So they get sort of swayed to which way they have to go with what they're doing. And
for sure,
as far as that concerned, like I could almost guarantee, okay, Keto Chow would never offer me anything.
Nope.
Okay. Which I don't believe in. I don't think it's any good. I think it's a process. Basically, that's me. I mean, other people use it, and you know.
Loki Trapping, how you doing?
So hey, Loki, how you doing?
Troy D, good to see you.
But the whole idea of what we're doing is because Not the size of the channel or anything else like that. I'm just showing people you can eat steaks, you can eat pork, you can have this, and you can cook it yourself. You don't have to have it Uber.
Exactly. You don't have to.
Okay. Now,
whether
you want to make a cake with that or anything else with that, you want to make breads, but that's fine. I don't do. This is what I'm showing you how I do things, all whole foods, and that's where I go from there. And that was my way of getting to where I'm at. As far as my health and stuff like that. Now, am I 100% healthy? Absolutely not. I still have a ways to go. The weight loss wasn't the big thing for me. It was getting my health back. I mean, Jason, I'm telling you, I could not get off the couch to walk to the bathroom where I needed a cane and all this stuff. Right. Okay. That's how bad my joints and everything were because of that. All right. So I said, you know what? I gotta take control of this. I just can't. I remember, take pills. How many pills? Take a pill with this, take a pill with that. I said, no, I don't worry. Done. I've had enough. Yeah. And once I put my mind to something, okay, I'm going to stay with it. You know, that's what intrigued me about Mike, okay, and your channel, Sheena, Alan, okay. Get on a horse and run with it, man, and just ride it to until I just was showing Mike a little while ago that I got invited. Okay, to a free lunch to find out about my cremation. Okay.
You gonna go?
Hell no. I mean, it's just, but I mean, it's everything's money driven, and the keto this and keto that, and I lose my mind with it a little bit, and I shouldn't, because I don't want to turn anybody away from it. Okay. I just wish more doctors, and I wish more of like the FDA and stuff would get on board with this stuff. The Food and Drug Administration, and just take a better control of it and say, this is out there, so you can do this, but it's all money driven. I don't know if it's the same thing up in Canada, but I think it's all over because these big major corporations, food corporations, they don't want to see us, talking about, no, I don't eat or ride a French fries.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like at least in Canada, the current head of the Diabetes Association here in Canada has type 2 diabetes and lives a low carb lifestyle. So, it's but where the organizations and like the health providers and everything, they're all just captured by big pharma and big food, just like everywhere else. That's what drives everything. Like Canada basically takes its guidance, like they'll use the American food pyramid here too, right? So whatever happens there winds up happening here because why spend the money doing the research here when everything that comes out of the United States must be true, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
hey, ProCut, how you doing? ProCut's in the house. I haven't seen him in a long time. How you been, buddy?
Hey, Marie said that the flyer said, "Bring a friend or a loved one." And she said, 2 burns for 1.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the final outcome. I mean, all of a sudden now McDonald's, what they had when they came out with the dollar menu, I said, "Oh boy, we're in trouble." So we are in trouble. Yeah. I mean, it's just from that side of the point there is crazy. But anything else anybody want to kick in with? Or Jason,
when I heard the dollar menu at McDonald's and I saw they had double cheeseburger on there, and I go, "Ooh, I could eat real good for $5."
Real good, and then suffer later.
Yeah. It's all that short-term, temporary pleasure for long-term pain, right? Yeah. So, like I say, I ultimately I think what we're all doing, as far as like doing these live streams with whoever you can get up, whether it's someone that's keto, carnivore, barbecue, but just get information out there, right? And I'm trying to do the same thing on my channel. I've had both of you record interviews. Mike, yours is going to come up a week tomorrow, I guess, on the 9th. I'm going to continue trying to get every story I can, basically, just so that anybody who wants information on how to start and how to live this lifestyle can look at yours, Tom, or Mike, or Bob's, or, you know, anyone on my channel, or just look at any one video and get the information they need, right? So, because we're all different, you know, I do things differently than you do, Tom, or you, Mike, and, you know, anyone else in the chat. Everybody does things differently. But if we talk about it, we get enough information out there, because it's not going to come from the top down.
Nope.
You can't, you'll never hear it from the ADA or the AHA, or because they can't, they're captured. They cannot come out now and say, oh, whoops, we were wrong. For the last 50 years, we've been giving you the wrong information. They just can't do it. Even if they know 100% true fact that your information is false, they can't change it now. They're too deep, right? So,
and that's where it's at. It's all about the money and big pharma. Okay, so my doctor, okay, he's a DO, and he is more holistic of ways of doing things. So he was pretty much on board with it. As a matter of fact, when we first started talking about getting off different medications and stuff, well, we got to see about the cholesterol and stuff like that. Now, all of a sudden, I dropped everything dropped really low. Okay. And now he was the one brought up, said, it might be a little too low.
Right.
So at least he's on board with it. And, you know, he's not going to specifically say, you're doing the right thing. You know, he can't, but he's sort of in my corner with it. So it's a pretty good guide, you know, and being at my age right now, I'm to the point where, I'm not trusting a lot of things. Okay. So, I remember as a kid, eat Wonder Bread, helps build bodies in 12 ways. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not going to have me monetized on this thing right here, but they were full of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And they knew it. And that's the bottom line, is that they're putting false stuff up, and they're playing with your health. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I think again, that's why the only way it's going to change is if it comes from people like us, and from the real people in the world that have had the results and can see the change that it makes. Because, you know, I don't foresee anybody ever paying me to change my mind. Right.
No.
Yeah.
Like I don't have enough influence for that kind of stuff. Right. So, I don't think I ever will. So I'll just keep speaking my truth, and that's why I'll keep bringing people on my channel to hear their truth, and we'll just try and change the world one person at a time, basically.
Yeah.
And Mike, you wanted to say something? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
Yeah, you know, doctors. How many times have you ever heard or seen a doctor come out of surgery and say, "Boy, I screwed that one up"? You know,
Exactly.
They don't admit it. You won't find one that'll admit it.
Hysterectomy. I thought you said colonoscopy. What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
And there again, like I said, for 10 minutes, sit there, and they you know, all of a sudden the scales in the back of the office, okay, and that's where they do the blood pressure and all stuff like that. So you just walk. I feel like a pony getting ready to race at a horse race. You just walk me around the paddock here. Now you want me to get up on the scale and, you know, do all my stuff? Nah, I ain't doing it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had surgery on my knee. Oh, I don't know. It was probably 10 years ago now, and that was the last knee surgery I had. And the doctor said, "Well, I want you to put a check mark on the knee that we're going to do." And I said, "Okay." I put a check mark and an arrow down, and I drew a bullseye on the knee, and I wrote beside it, "Aim here."
Real quick, I don't know. We're going to get off soon. I'm going to, maybe we'll go to 2 or whatever. But I just got to. This community is so great, and it's so wide open. Okay, even the barbecue guys, the carnivore, I even have a couple vegan people that pop in and out. Nothing wrong with them. I mean, just
No, I'm good with it.
we just see different ways here. But I mean, just um, different types of cooks and stuff like that. Okay, I got a mail call. If anybody didn't see my mail call, I got this from Loki. Okay, Loki Trapping Adventures. All right, this is a recipe that she sent me. All right, detailed. I have never had anybody do this for me. Write out in detail of her soup. Okay, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a. They sent me out some sweet potato.
Pasta.
Macaroni, the sweet potato, Oriental noodles and stuff. I'm going to do it. Okay. That's never happened to me before. That's how tight knit this thing is. Would people want to help other people and open up the door for it? I thought that was great. I thought that was fantastic. And another guy, okay, that I'm really good friends with, okay, he didn't want to see me get cut no more, so he sent me out a pair of gloves so I don't slice off my thumb or anything else anymore.
No more finguini for you.
Yeah, finguini.
Yeah. No, this whole community, and again, my channel sort of wasn't really doing anything, as far as growth was concerned for a long time, until I started getting more involved in like channels like Sheena and you guys, and meeting more people and just being involved with other creators. I think that's, if we're talking about the YouTube thing nowadays, I think that's where it has to start, since I've done that, it's been going well. So
I get a lot of emails from people that don't want to be, let out of the bag or anything like that. That they're starting or they're concerned and this and that. And I tell them square business. Look, this is how I did it. Okay, very easy. But I go by two things. Got to give up sugar, and you got to cut the carbs. Other than that, you're on your own as far as how you want to do it and this and that. So
sure.
I mean, if you don't have type 2 diabetes, okay, then you can go with a higher carb. You can do 50 or 100 down, whatever, to get started with. But you got to use your own head. If you cut stuff in half right now, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's. I've said it before. I'll say it again. There is no one way to doing keto.
no.
You might want to start out with the typical strict keto, getting started, but then after 2 months, when you've gotten into it and you've learned a lot and you realize what's what and you know how to do it, you can start doing things according to what works for you.
Yeah, and Mike, and how me and you go back and forth and talking this and that. I mean, and I hope nobody takes offense to what I say or anything like that. But that's just me. Like Alan, what he does, and he'll make this protein sparing modified stuff like that. That's what Alan does, and it works for him.
It works.
That's fine with me. I have no problem with that.
You just know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And
exactly.
That's what you've got to do to make this work. Know what will hurt you and what will help. What gets you by. And
I will divert people over to go check out Alan. What he's doing like that. Go check Mike out, okay, and check Jason out, okay, the Chaffle King, and but I say that because there's ones that I wouldn't even think about doing, and that's what makes this really really work, for everybody. So it's not one guy or one person or one side takes this side. That's it. No, it's everybody.
Yeah,
everybody together. Yeah,
absolutely.
Jonna put in here. She's making oxtail. Have you ever made oxtail before, Jonna? Because if you haven't, the slower the cook, the better off you are.
Long.
Do a long cook. Make it a slow process. You want it just falling off.
I did that shank, and I tell you what, just from making, and that's when I did the gravy. I saved it, and I did some of the gravy with the avocado, and I tell you, you could just tell the difference because of the bone marrow.
Mhm.
that was coming out of it. Oh man, I tell you what a deep beef flavor. You knew you had the right stuff. Let's see here. What you got? Now, also, let's bring this back up again, Mike. What do you think? St. Choffle Day, 14th.
St. Choffle.
I'm gonna put it up, and I hope everybody would join us. You don't have to be keto. Anybody can do it. I'm gonna put up the days, and we're gonna be making choffles. Anyway.
And if you're in the chat and you don't produce content, but you do choffles and you have a choffle recipe you'd like done, send an email out and we'll do it.
Yep.
At least I know I will. I'll do it.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Emails are in on the about page, in our description there on the about page, and just send an email. We'll give her a go. At least I know I will. I'll give her a go.
Hell yeah.
And I'll credit you with it.
In fact, I was thinking about this. I was looking back at the one I did with the different seafood in it. And I said, been there, done that. Let me try something different. So.
Oh, I've already got a couple of ideas for a choffle already. I don't know if anybody's ever done it or not. I haven't seen any of them done, but I'm sure enough going to try it.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, the one idea I have for a different choffle may ruffle some feathers, but we'll give it a go anyways.
Hey, let it rip, brother.
Yeah, I live to ruffle feathers.
Yeah. Me too. Just one other thing before we wrap this up.
Renegade side of me.
Low-key Trapping Adventures. They hit their 1,000 mark, and they're like 1,400 hours short. They're like 1,400 hours short of the monetization 4,000 window. So if you can give them a check, or run a couple of their videos and stuff like that, or if you have an extra device, do it. Also, my partner over here too, we're trying to get him to 1,000 and get his watch time up, and also this guy down here, the same thing. So if you can, everybody chip in a little bit. And let's help everybody else out. I'm reaching out because, and I'm going to be doing it because everybody helped me get to my point. So it's not a one-way street. Everybody move it together, and I'll be running these guys and Loki's time, and Marie does it, just to get everybody to where they want to be. So that's what this is all about. I had made a statement the other day on another channel that I was on. I'm in this to make money. Okay. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be worrying about 1,000 subscribers. I wouldn't worry about 4,000 watch hours. So whatever bone they're going to throw me from advertising and stuff like that, that's what I'm in for. Because all this stuff costs money, and I'm not begging for nothing. But I'm just saying this is why I'm doing this. Okay. A little extra income. I'm retired, and I'm just trying to make sure that everything, everybody comes together with it. So anybody tells you that, well, I'm not in it for the money, really. I'm just here to, no. Or else you wouldn't worry about the time. So everybody else that's here that needs to get to where they need to get to, let's do it, man. Let's help everybody else out.
Loki, I'm gonna come see you, and I just pulled you up. I'm not subscribed, but I will be. I'll be watching your content.
Vegas Paranormal's here. Nice to see you. One of my neighbors. Let's see. All right.
Another one of your neighbors that I love her. Man, that lady can cook, Miss J. Road to what is it?
Good Cooking.
Road to Good Cooking. That's it. She can cook.
She started me with this. She said, "Brother, you need to get on YouTube." I'm like, what? Her and my grandson. Great person, great supporter. Knows her stuff. She's something else. She's something else. That's the Road to Good Cooking. Check her out.
It's chopples. It's waffles. It's made with cheese and egg instead of flour.
It's made with one egg and a half a cup of cheese. Shredded cheese is better, and then you can start putting anything you want to it.
Right.
That's basically it, right, Jason? I mean,
it all depends on who you like. A lot of people. I know Steve from Serious Keto. At one point, he was doing like 2/3 of a cup of cheese with 2 egg yolks and with no egg, like just the egg yolks.
Yeah.
And then he would blend it all up in like a magic bullet or something and make.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of different ways. Mine is just 1 egg and 2/3 cup of shredded cheese.
Okay.
And then I try and find something else to put in it. But even just by itself, that recipe will make you 2 buns for your burger, you know, and basically you're eating everything. It's all protein. Well, depending on what kind of cheese you have, I guess.
Yeah. What I've been doing, matter of fact, Marie took over, okay, doing it. So, but what I did was I found out that from doing it, just the egg and the cheese and mixing it up that way, I run it through the blender and I got 4 chaffles out of it. I don't know how that came about, but I did see in Target up the road from me here that they have a 4 chaffle.
Yep.
Made for chaffle.
Dash has got a whole, you know, after the popularity of the mini waffle iron, they've got, you know, you can get the ones that make a cup, like it'll make an actual chaffle or a waffle cup, and then you've got the ones that do like a flat pancake or heart shaped, but yeah, I've seen the one that's got the 4 sections like a regular waffle iron. So
Man, I need to talk to you about that.
I'm gonna get to probably buy a second mini so that I can just do both of them at the same time.
Yeah. I've got 2 minis. I've got a griddle, and I've got the mini griddle, I should say, and I've got the regular size waffle maker that are all the Dash products.
So I got one from Chef that was the keto griddle, but it has no waffle irons in it. It's just it's the same size, but it's just flat.
It's a flat surface. Yeah, that's what I've got. It's the mini one that they've got. Yeah. Matt over here, Keto World Order. Matt said that you can claim on your taxes, at least in the U.S., like your products that you buy for doing your keto reviews and things like that, and your Wi-Fi and so forth. Matt, I need to talk to you about that. That's for sure.
I just got monetized, so I'm way off from that right now.
Yeah. I'm not even close. Not even close to worrying about that yet. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not either. Well, I don't know if you can claim it if you're not monetized. I got to see about that.
Yeah, no, you have to be monetized in order to get anything from them.
Okay.
All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up. It was a great conversation, Jason. I appreciate you coming on. I really do. Thank you for having us on yours. And everybody, please check out Just Jason Keto. Also, the Ketorific Journey with Mike, please.
And my buddy. Come on, there we go.
Oh, my ear.
The Keto Cook.
My ear.
Cook. Tom Darby, the Keto Cook.
It's a great community. It really is. And we're going to continue this. Please like, subscribe, check us all out, and we will turn back to to your channels also. All right, everybody. I'm going to wrap this up here. 2-hour mark. You guys just want to hang around a minute until I get off of here.
Quick one right here. It's Wednesday, so I'm hoping if I either Big Valley or 2 doctors, one of them a wholesale live, they come on right after we get off at 8:00.
That's right.
Go over 2 doctors Homestead.
Hump Day Wednesday. Hump Day Wednesday.
And it's is it Big Valley Homestead? It's Big Valley something.
Big Valley Homestead and 2 doctors Homestead.
Right. Go over
Big
there.
Valley. I'm sorry, Big Valley. It's Big Valley Living is what it is.
Big Valley Living. That's it. But go over there and tell them we sent you.
Yeah.
If you're looking for somewhere to go with another live, they got some great stuff. And the 2 docs, they do the keto too.
Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for coming in, stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Guys, I'll talk to you later. Hang in there, all right, for a minute.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.